Today we're going to make blueberry muffins with a lemon topping with sugar. Blueberries supposed to be really healthy for you, and I know there's a lot of blueberry muffin recipes out there, but this is the one that I found that I thought was just really good. First we're going to start off with 2 cups of plain flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup sugar. And I'm going to mix that together so that it kind of is combined evenly. I've done several recipes and I noticed that a lot of them does not quite call for 2 cups of flour, but I found that you need at least 2 cups of flour for it to kind of hold together and be solid enough for the jelly that we put in it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take another bowl and I'm going to mix the wet ingredients. Now I've got 1 cup of half and half here. If you've got buttermilk, that's the best. I don't have buttermilk today, so I'm going to add 1 1/2 teaspoon of pure old lemon juice to that half and half. Kind of stir that so that it sours that milk just a little bit. And I'm using half and half because it's a little bit richer than just whole milk. Okay. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's thickened it up just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. To that I'm going to add 4 tablespoonfuls of just plain old vegetable oil. Two beaten eggs. And 4 tablespoonfuls of melted butter that we melted in the microwave, and we've let it cool just a little bit because we don't want it to cook on those eggs and make them stringy. Okay. Now we're going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Now we like to use pure vanilla. Scott found out while working on his food truck, Twisted Mike's, that pure vanilla not only went farther, but it really adds a lot better flavor to your food. You wouldn't believe the difference. And we're going to mix that up. Okay. Now then, I'm going to add the blueberries to this dry ingredients. And the reason for that is you want the blueberries to get coated with the flour. And what that does is it keeps the blueberries from all settling down to the bottom of your muffin. I know it sounds strange, but it really works. But this means when we add the wet ingredients, we have to mix it really careful. So I'm going to grab a big spoon and I'm just going to slowly and carefully mix that in together. Now this is not a real sweet muffin, so if you like them sweeter, you're going to have to add more than that 1 cup of sugar. We don't like ours quite as sweet. We like them just a little bit. We did this one for a ladies group when we were catering, and they all asked for the recipe later on. So we know it wasn't too awfully bad if a bunch of really good cooks ask you for your recipe. Alright, it looks pretty well mixed. I have to watch it kind of in the bottom. It wants to get, you don't want any dry pockets in your Okay, So looking pretty good right there. Okay, we're going to put this into 12 muffin little pans, and I've put the little liners in there and sprayed those. Take my ice cream scoop, and I'm not going to get it quite full because I want it to be, oh, maybe 3/4 full. They will rise quite a bit, and you want to make sure that you don't overfill it because they rise and then they stick together. I like using an ice cream scoop for cookies and for muffins and things like that because then they all come out fairly even, about the same size. You don't have any huge ones and any little bitty tiny ones left over. No one wants to be the one that gets a tiny one. Now this is a medium size pan, so we're going to have a little bit left over. If you were making great big muffins, you'd have just about the right amount. We come out with a little bit more, in which we'll just put in another pan. Okay, now what we've got is a little bit of pure blueberry jam. No additives, there's nothing in it but sugar and the fruit. And we're going to stick that right down in the center of each muffin. And I'll press it down in there. This will kind of cook up over it. It's hard to be neat and really pretty with this, getting it in there. This adds just a little bit more flavor. That's why you want to get a good all fruit jam to put in there. We made these, the first time we made them in bite-sized muffins, and they really were cute, but it was really hard getting jam down in a little bite-sized muffin. But if you're catering and you want something cute, they were cute. Okay, now then we are going to put this in the oven at 425 degrees for 17 to 20 minutes. And you have to watch them that last 3 minutes to make sure that they're not getting too brown on top. Okay, while we've got those in the oven cooking, we're going to combine 1/4 cup of plain white sugar, and we're doing this in a baggie because I have found that this just works out the best. And the zest of 2 lemons. Put that all in the bag together. This is how you make lemon sugar. You can make lime sugar, you can make orange sugar, just whatever. And it's really good as a topping. Just be sure you've got that bag seal good at the top. You might double it down a couple of times. And what you're gonna do is just kind of move it around, get it well distributed in there. Everything mixed together so that it's pretty even. Because when you sprinkle this on the top, you don't want to have all sugar or all lemon rind at the top. Alrighty, now we'll just wait until it's time to take the muffins out. Okay, it has been 17 minutes. I have an electric stove, and it cooks just a little bit different than when I had a gas stove. So anywhere you need to kind of watch them every 3 to 5 minutes before they're done to make sure that you're getting it cooked like you want it. We're going to test it by sticking a toothpick in that. Comes out nice and clean, so we know they're done. Now I've put the lemon sugar in the refrigerator, and I'll get that out. And while they're hot, you want to do this, and you kind of have to work fast with this because you want that sugar to kind of stick to that. Put that lemon on there. It makes it crusty. It makes it just a little crusty once it melts. And that makes it just really good. Give it a good, put plenty on there. You can be a little messy here. And you're probably wondering how come Michael isn't doing the talking as we do the cooking here. It's because he is practicing some new techniques with his camera here. And he knows that the only thing I know how to do is turn things on and off. All right. Make sure those are really coated. Now I'm going to put that back in the oven for about 2 minutes. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. Now it doesn't look much different than whenever I put it in the oven, but you can see there's a little bit of caramelization going on there around the sugar, and when that cools it becomes really crunchy. As soon as that sugar and lemon hit the tops of those hot, oh, it smells so good. If you like this recipe, be sure and hit like.
And make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We hope that you enjoyed this recipe.